everyone, this is going to be a pick a card reading, the answer to a question you didn't know you had. So these are going to feel like inner knowings, and they're going to resonate if they're for you. So for pile 1, what is an answer to a question you didn't know you had? And this can be multiple answers. We're just going to see what comes out. So this is about communication that you didn't really realize you were waiting for. So you were subconsciously waiting for someone to tell you, to give you an answer. It feels like to give you a no answer about something before you could move forward. So this wasn't a surface level thing, like you had asked someone, hey, I have this question, and then you're waiting to hear back. It was like maybe they had no idea that you even were waiting on this, but you were energetically, subconsciously waiting for somebody to say no to something before you move forward. And this is what you didn't realize that you were waiting for. It's almost like you needed somebody's permission, but it doesn't feel like permission because, like I said, it feels like a no. It's like you were waiting for someone to confirm something was a no, so you could be like, okay, then that's not an option. But the question to ask yourself, why were you waiting for this person to tell you that that's not an option? Why couldn't you tell yourself that? Or why did you feel like you needed them to be the one to tell you? So I was just guided to tell you to ask yourself that. So the emphasis here is an answer you didn't know you needed. The question, or what did I say? Now I'm confusing myself. So here's the answer you didn't know you were looking for to the question you didn't know you had. So you were giving away a lot of your personal power to someone that I feel like this person was completely unaware that you were giving them this power. It was like when somebody is obsessed with you, but you never even knew, and you find out later and you're shocked because you had no idea. It's like that type of energy. Like this person doesn't know that you are waiting for them to be the decision maker in this, to kind of, it's almost like, so the reason you're waiting for them is because you fear taking the responsibility of making the choice yourself. There's still a fear within you of that you don't have the tools or the knowledge to be able to make the right choice for yourself. But that is, if you feel that way, that's not true. And this is what you're being called to overcome in this situation. You didn't know there was a significant pattern in your dreams. You didn't know, you were wondering about it, but I feel like you've been thinking about it a lot, but you didn't realize you were thinking about it so much. But there's some type of repeating pattern, some type of, it doesn't feel like the dream itself is reoccurring, but it feels like something in the dream is reoccurring. There's something significant that happens that no matter what type of different dream you have, it's like this thing is reoccurring. So it feels like you weren't giving this much thought because it doesn't feel realistic to you, or like real world related. Like dream world and real world for you are very separate things. But right now you're being guided to think maybe these two worlds are not so different. And you're being guided to search for the connection between, like, think of something you've been noticing, you've been having a lot in your dream. It could even just be an animal, a color, a certain conversation or exchange of words that you keep having with someone in your dream. But think of how it relates to your workspace or your career, your job somehow, because there's like a clue in there for you in that sense. It's something that you never would have put the two together or thought they had a connection. But this, what I'm telling you, is going to help make that connection, and you're going to like realize what it is, the connection between these two. And it's what the dream's been trying to tell you. and it's an answer about your work or job or career that you didn't know you had. Or maybe I'm hearing some were afraid to ask or afraid to wonder. It was like a subconscious question. It hadn't come up to the surface for you to consciously think and know, oh, this is a question I have. But when you get the answer, you'll realize the question is there. But again, that's how you'll get there. It's like a little scavenger hunt. You also didn't know that you are over something that happened in your past with a masculine energy, kind of fiery energy. Something happened in the past with this person or this energy, and maybe it really affected you at the time, and you didn't realize over time how much you'd actually gotten over it or how much it doesn't affect you anymore. But that's another thing here. It's like something that once had so much power over you, or maybe this person had, or even a situation had so much power over you, no longer does anymore. But it's like you didn't even realize how differently you feel about the situation now versus maybe a long time ago or when it was happening. So you didn't know you had this question or this one. It was more of like a wonder. Are my dreams worth going after? Would I even have a chance at attaining them? Would it even be worth it if I did? And the answer is yes. So they're there for a reason, and the certain dreams or goals you may want to accomplish or just experiences you want to have in life, I'm hearing that they're worth having. So somebody feels like maybe it doesn't seem important enough or significant enough, but if it feels like you feel drawn to it, it feels important to you, you don't need it to be important to the rest of the world or to anybody else. If something makes you feel excited, that's enough of a reason. So that's something else you needed to know. I'm hearing take a stab at it. So I don't know if that's something significant. Maybe that's something somebody has said to you, or someone you know says that a lot. Just take a stab at it. But there's something significant about that phrase. Or maybe you will hear that and it will be like in alignment, or it will be a sign, like you'll have just heard something and then you'll hear that and you'll know that that was confirmation. So that's all I'm getting for you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. So for pile 2, what are some answers to questions you didn't know you had? I finally learned that title in this pile. I could not get it in the first. For some reason, I just heard, I'm most excited about this pile. And I don't feel like that's me. That's just somebody's guide or something is like, someone's just most excited about this pile. Okay, and then we got 13 financial constraints and blossoming abundance, which is 3. And as I was pulling these up, it was 11, 13. So 1s and 3s could be significant here, which for me, that's like a lucky combination. Like 13 is lucky. It's like creation, willpower, manifestation meets divine intervention, and like the collaboration between you and your will and the divine coming together. So this is really good. I just noticed this part. It's literally the financial constraints came first, but then the blossoming abundance. So right here, I guess I should hold it like this. So this following this is this transition that's happening right now. And it's like the abundance could only happen and it could only blossom because of whatever situation this inspired, or whatever actions this energy inspired within you to make the changes you needed to, so that you could have this instead. And that's what it's. So the answer to a question you didn't know you had is that, yes, the financial struggles you've been experiencing and may only just now be starting to see a way out of, they were all necessary. Like you had to experience them because being in that position is the very thing that caused you to, it like gave you all the tools and all the self-discipline and the motivation and the mental strength to make your abundance happen. So it was like that was your school, that was your learning that had to happen. So there was no part of your struggles, like your material struggles, that was for nothing. There's no part of it that you weren't learning in the same moments that you were struggling. And I feel like maybe this is a question you had, but almost maybe you didn't want to ask. It was like, when will it be over? But you didn't want to ask for more money or ask when is money going to come, because you didn't want to be in the energy of, I still need it. You just wanted to try to feel calm and trust that it's already there. And doing so is what allowed the storm to pass you by. This actually came up in reverse. So the storm warning, this is in reverse though. The storm has passed. So you didn't know, you didn't ask, when would it end? But the answer is it has passed. And of course, things physically in our perception, they take longer to catch up than the internal, purely energetic type shifts. Like changing your mind happens instantly, but having something physically appear instantly, it only happens sometimes, but most of the time there is a lag in the physical part of it. So yes, the storm has passed. That doesn't mean the exact physical second it passed, that in that second you would physically have all the abundance. But again, it's just like how nature returns to its natural state every time the seasons change. It doesn't just change in one day, even though sometimes it can feel like that, but it's like it takes time to shift from one season to the next. So this is just in that shifting period, that's where you're in right now. And that's why you didn't want to ask, because you could feel the shift and you could feel yourself moving, and you're like, I don't want to mess this up now and start worrying or being impatient. So you didn't want to ask, but the answer is coming through anyway and telling you the storm has passed. And so this part has passed. You're right now transitioning from here to here, and you're allowing this to happen. You're not forcing it, you're allowing it, and that's why it's happening. The Magician in the mirror. So you learn to balance your own inner energies, your masculine and feminine, your light and dark, your inner polarities. And in doing so, you for a while had to go kind of back and forth between the two energies, working on each of them and tuning them up. But once that had been complete, you could finally merge the two and use both at the same time instead of switching back and forth. You could be in this harmony, this balance between the two, and that's where you are. You've found the magic in the mirror. And I feel like you didn't stop caring about material items and material goods and needs, but you chose to trust that will always be something that you're always going to need. Material things as a human, you're going to need food and clothes and that type of thing, and that's okay, and that's part of it, and you're always going to need it and get it, need it and get it, and that's just the flow of it. And you're not so concerned with that flow and monitoring it and trying to control it. You're just going to let it happen and know that it always will. And this drawing your attention away from being so strictly focused on it is what helped you get out of this energy, is kind of letting go. Again, not saying you don't need it, but just saying you're not going to let it consume so much of your time, so much of your day, so much of your energy. And in that, it really helped you blossom and find self-love. So all of this is connected, which is another answer to a question you didn't know you had. All of this it's like one thing connects to the next story, connects to the next. The financial constraints you were going through were connected to your ability to balance both energies within you and let go of control over material items and focus on yourself and self-love. making that your priority, and that's what you did. You did all of the things. You followed all of the clues, all of the steps, and it's like you completed the journey. It reminds me of one card in here, the Temple Path. It has like a winding path. Like you completed it, you finished it, because you heard every clue and you were able to follow it. Envy in reverse. Nobody's envy is able to affect you anymore. You have no envy, because there's no part of you that doesn't feel like you can have whatever you want, or that you have limits. If you see something you want that somebody else has, there's no envy within you, because you know that you can have it too, and that there's no shortage, and that you can both have it, and that everyone can have it, and that you're not coming from this lack mindset or mentality anymore. And look, anxiety in reverse. You're at the same time as all of this is happening, you're overcoming your anxieties. You are, because this is what was causing them. And it's all of this is connected. So, but you've overcome this. It's like for a while you had to step out of the driver's seat of your life and of your body and out of your mind, and just get back to basics. And now you can take control again of your life and really feel like you're in the driver's seat. It's like you're finally ready to go out on your own. Be responsible. You're ready for the responsibility now. You can handle it now, because you stopped taking on things that weren't your responsibility. So you would actually have time and energy for the things that were. And then you could actually give those things your time and energy, and they could blossom and flourish like they are supposed to, like they're meant to. And then you would actually be getting returns from what you put into things. Walking away. You didn't walk away from anything. You faced it all, and you chose to take every single thing and turn it into something better for yourself. You chose not to walk away. You faced your anxieties, and that's why they're disappearing. I want to get just one more. Okay, a man holding a heart. So it looks like this is really the next step. So man or woman, a relationship coming in, because you aren't in a space of need anymore. And if you didn't want a relationship that came from the energy of need and lack, because that would be a codependent relationship, and you wanted to be whole, now the other person be whole, and now that you're free to attract this into your life, and that's what is headed into your life right now. So, but you're not worried about it or trying to control it. And that's the most important thing here, is that you're not meant to control how this happens, when it happens, all the details. You're just meant to know that's what's next. So, but not to draw you out of your current moment. Well, I hope you enjoyed these messages. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. So for pile 3, answers to questions you didn't know you had. 6 of Cups. So right away, this is about somebody. It feels like a sibling type of relationship, like a younger sibling. Very specific for someone, a younger sister. But this could also be a childhood friend or someone you were really close to in childhood, and you have since grown apart from or been estranged from. So you didn't know that you and this person were meant to come back together and be in each other's lives again and be a big, important part of each other's lives. You may have thought or wondered if that would ever happen, or if like the bigger part of you thought it will never be like it was. That time has passed, and now I just need to move on. And although it won't be the exact same, you can still have that depth of that relationship if you want it, and it feels like this other person does want it. But it's also, it has to be 2 ways. It has to be both of you wanting it and trying to make it happen. But somebody did not know that this was even gonna circle back around, or that this person even wanted that. Maybe you don't know that you're meant to have a happy family and maybe you thought you would be single your whole life and, have no children, have no family, have nothing. But it's like you are meant, if that's something you want, then that is completely meant for you. Anybody who wants that, it is meant for them. There's nobody who wants a family and wants that life and it's not supposed to be theirs, because they wouldn't have that desire. So if you want that, then it is there for a reason. And that's what I always say, is like your desires are there for a reason. They're not just there for fun or just to tease you. There's an actual reason. And sometimes it's less you thinking of something and manifesting it, and more something that has already happened in the future sending you signals to help you get there better or easier. So if you think of it less as something you have to try and make happen, and something that think of it instead as something that has already happened, and it's just like helping lead you on the path to it. Because even if that's one timeline, it could still go different ways. But it's like, if you want this, here are the steps to get here. This is a timeline that's already happened. It already has happened. It's happening right now. And if you want this, here are your clues. And so it'll send you these desires or these things that you want, or a life that you want. And it's because it's saying, it's breadcrumbing you and showing you like, this is the way. Not breadcrumbing in a bad way, because I know that's supposed to be not a good thing, but I just mean like guiding you. And also the things that are frustrating you right now, you may feel like people or just life in general is like trying to upset you or trying to frustrate you, and that's not necessarily the case. It's that it's meant to charge you up and really fuel you. And it's like you're gonna just get to a point where you've had enough and you're like, wait, I get it now. And like something clicks for you, something mentally, some block that you've been having, or like some question or problem you've been stuck on, or you're like, I just can't figure out this one part, and it's just gonna click for you. But it's gonna come from the urge and the intensity of whatever is happening, and it's triggering these feelings in you. So sometimes it's not best to try and be calm, because sometimes feelings are just coming up and you need to let them come up, because they're there for a reason, and they're there to aid you and help you. And you won't regret this. I feel like someone needs to hear that, and it could be about anything, but you won't regret this. You're not going to look back and think, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But if you don't try it, you will look back and say, oh, what if I had? I wish I had. So I'm hearing, this is weird, but I'm hearing you can't always trust your intuition. And that message is for people who confuse their intuition with something that is not. So it's not true that you can't always trust your intuition, but for you, something that you're calling your intuition or you're telling yourself isn't, and it's not helping you and it's not serving you. And the way to know is, how does it make you feel? Does it make you can literally feel like just like when you eat a piece of fruit and something's not right about it, you can feel just something's off, right? It's that type of feeling. You can just feel it's not quite right, and you can try and convince yourself it's fine, but it's just not. So if that's the case, then that's not your intuition, and this is telling you not to confuse that with it. Because you strongly follow your intuition, but if you strongly follow something that isn't, it could really end up badly for you. And then so the last two, the Tower and then Temperance in reverse. So this is kind of like what I was saying. Sometimes you need to just give into the chaotic energy and let it carry you, because sometimes trying to stay stable and solid is just, it's going to make you, like sometimes you just need to be flexible and a more moving, because trying to be too grounded in every moment sometimes is not helpful. And you'll know what situation this is about, but it's like somebody needs to allow themselves to get carried away in something that they can't control anyway. It's like if you can't control it, the more you try, it's just going to stress you out and actually be throwing you off balance. So sometimes you have to sometimes make a mess to get clean. I don't know what that means, but that's just one thing I heard. But it's just this idea of like, sometimes things get messy before they get better. And the more you try to resist that messiness, it's not going to do anything good for you. But that doesn't mean you can't have fun in the chaos or in the madness. If you have to go through it anyway, might as well have fun with it if you can. So I hope this answered some questions for you that you didn't know you had. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.